dat ik vandaag Limburg en Maastricht mag gelukwensen met het tot stand komen van de Rijksuniversiteit al hier. De wordingsgeschiedenis ervan en van de medische faculteit die heb ik met grote en bijzondere aandacht gevolgd, evenals de nieuwe denkbeelden die er met een open geest in zullen worden verwerkelijkt.
It's interesting to see that she took her speech out of her pocket, which would never be the case nowadays.
Veel voldoening schenken en veel vrucht dragen.
Very nice looking to my father. I never seen these pictures. Well, I heard of it because my father at that time was rector of the University of Leiden. So he went there and he assisted at the opening. Of course, he was there. He was rector of the oldest university, nearly of the world. And there were some people somewhere in the south of the Netherlands with a new university. What did they think?
Gij allen, bestuurders, docenten en studenten, hebt met de grote steun van heel het gewest die uitdaging aanvaard. Wij, de zusterinstellingen, wensen u en de uwen van harte succes.
At that moment I was working at the University of Leiden, the Educational Research Center. At that time Hans Krombach was the boss over there. And I went there after finishing my law studies in Groningen. And when he got a possibility to go to work there as in the educational research, I said, well, yes, that was my idea. The university really came into my sight. That was when the Educational Research Center in Leiden existed 10 years. And we said to each other, well, let's do something special. And we knew they were doing something special in Maastricht. Of course, we knew Wienand Wijnen. He was also an educationalist, so he belonged to the circle of people working in educational research centers. And we went there in a freezing day in February. It was a lot of snow, and I remember strolling around there, beautiful. Well, I was impressed with the work they were doing in the medical faculty, because that was all there was at that time. And going back, I thought, well, I can write an article trying to discuss the idea of problem-based learning in a medical faculty, and then bringing that to a law faculty. With Hans Krombach, we wrote an article which was published in the Dutch legal journal. I have it here. Here, it's published in 1978, and it's called The New Medical Faculty in Maastricht and the Legal Education. And of course, when it was published, well, we sent it to Wienand, not knowing that people in Maastricht were trying to let the university grow. So this was exactly what they liked to have: a faculty, a law faculty, a lot of students, which was not very expensive. So in fact that was the start of my connection with the university. And well, after some time they asked me whether I was interested in setting up a faculty. And it was a real chance for me, and I would have to go everywhere when you have a chance when you're 32 trying to set up a new faculty. We moved to Maastricht in September 81. And then we had one year, in preparation for the first students who came in September 82. I remember vividly that in the first days that I was there, well, I didn't dare to speak loud, because everybody said, well, he's not from here, he's from Holland. So when I went to the bakery, I said, oh, I pointed out what I wanted to have. I didn't want to speak. During the time that I was in Maastricht, well, 20 years, I've seen the change from a small city with a lot of French speaking, and of course a lot of the Maastricht dialect, into a city where also you could speak easily Dutch and English. I remember very well the first day that I went into the university together with Karl Dietrich. He also worked at that time in Leiden, and well, one day he came to me and said, well, is it possible that I go with you? I'm from Maastricht and it seems to me very interesting to come with me. And I said, yes, of course. He was a good guy. And so we started there a little bit with the two of us. Of course, there were some other people. When we started, we advertised for young lawyers, and one of them was Gerard Mols. He had his own ideas about problem-based learning. A little bit different from mine, but interesting. He said, well, you have to take real societal problems. That's what we go after. And my idea was, well, it's not interesting what are real societal problems, also interesting, but it can be any problem. When we started, in the first year we were with 10 people. Nobody knew how to do it really. It was really the first time that we did it. And I remember also, well, the first group of 100 students which we had, well, I think it was great for them and it was great for us. We were looking at them very carefully. Is it working? In 1990, I was for the second time Dean of the faculty. So I belonged to the group who were looking for a new rector. So it was a bit strange that I became a rector. And it was a result of the fact that Co-Greep wanted to be rector, but yes, Co-Greep was Co-Greep. And there were people very much in favor of him, and there were people very much not in favor of him. So it's like it's always going in that time. If two people are fighting, there is a third one who is going with the job. My motivation to become rector, well, I think I've always been better in government than as a scientist. The law faculty existed at that time, 10 years. It came on my way. I think my father liked it. It wasn't something for my father to say I'm proud, but I think he liked it, yes. In the first executive board with Luc Vredevoogd, Karel Dietrich and myself, that was excellent. We always say we are the best executive board ever in the Netherlands and outside the Netherlands. Luc had much more experience than I had at the time. Karel, he's an excellent finance man. It was always, I admired him very much about that. If he or we thought it was necessary to do some things, he always found the money for it. So let the university grow, that was important. European studies was important. Also the internationalization of the university. The internationalization was and trying to get students from abroad was quite new. Well, when you look now, I think the Faculty of Economics, there's a lot of people from Germany. But also in the law faculty, we started, also during the time that I was dean, an international branch. European legal studies, that's what we set up. Well, I became rector in 1991 and I was appointed for 3 years. And after those 2.5 years, I had a meeting with the deans for reappointment, and which I wanted to do. And then all of a sudden, it came on my way to become Secretary of State for Higher Education. Well, I was always interested in politics. And well, again, it seemed to be a chance. So I did it. And this was only for 1 year, because it was the last year of the cabinet of Lubbers III. My successor, Hans Philipsen, was appointed for 1 year. So there was a new election, a new appointment for the rector. And well, I said, well, I like to come back. Going further with what I did before. At the end of my second term as rector, I was again appointed for 3 years. So my second term was from 1995 until 1998. I came there as a professor and knowing what professors want. And becoming for 6 years rector and member of the executive board, also a year as Secretary of State, I felt that I was less professor and more governor. So I thought I'm not the good representative of the professors. As a rector, as a governor, as a Secretary of State for education, for justice, as a mayor, those are positions in which I'm better than in politics or as a professor. When I became mayor of Amsterdam, I had a very good experience having all those professors around you. You know, people in Amsterdam, they are all, well, they know what they want. Well, that's exactly the same with professors, and that's also the same with politicians.